right. How are you guys doing?
We're well. How are you?
Oh, good. So far.
Hey, was there any backseat driving going on the way over here with your passenger?
No, not at all. I think the mayor would rather have driven a little bit faster, but we were unfortunately in a position to where we were very bogged down from speed. So I think we were on display. She would have rather done donuts in the middle of the street. So I thought that would have been more fun too.
Thank you.
Yep.
What do you enjoy about coming out to Texas and this race?
Well, you know, for us, this turns into a really big event because it's obviously a really big market for not only the race, but for our sponsors, and there's always a lot of customers and people that show up for the racetrack. So it turns into a full weekend of things to do, and people that you normally don't see on every weekend show up to Texas. So it's definitely a place that everybody pays a lot of attention to, and there's a lot of focus put on it. And for us, you know, we've been close to winning here over the past couple of years, and haven't quite got to victory lane yet. But you know, the cars the last couple of years have been capable of winning, and now we just need it to all go our way. So it's definitely easy to find motivation for us from a competition side when you come here.
You've done it in Xfinity. You've done it in trucks. What do you think it's going to take for you to break through and add this to your list of tracks that you've won?
You just need it all to go your way. You know, it's so hard to win races, even when you have the fastest car. It's hard to win races in this sport just because there's so many other things that go into it from a strategy standpoint, circumstances that don't fall your way. So there's just a lot that goes into it. You know, that you can't control, and you just have to keep controlling the things that you can control, and hopefully those circumstances fall your way, and kind of give back a little bit on the side of things that have taken away from the circumstance side. So it's you just try to keep yourself competitive and up front, and then hopefully when it's that night, it's that night.
One other strategy point, obviously without getting too technical.
Yeah.
First night race of the year with the new package at night. Could this thing get really interesting?
Yeah, I don't know that, I don't know that the nighttime has a lot to do with it, but I think that the package and the racetrack will have a lot to do with it, just because of the fact, this is the first race at Texas Motor Speedway with the low downforce package. There's a new tire that came with that, so I think you're going to see a lot of tire wear, which is intended from Goodyear's standpoint to be that way. Hopefully the tires don't make it to the end of the fuel run. You have to pit early, and it makes it exciting. So I know from a driver's standpoint, I think we're all looking forward to the cars sliding around a lot and really being hard to drive. So I think as we go to the weekend, everybody's really excited to get the cars on the racetrack and see what happens.
Eddie Gossage keeps predicting you to finally break through and win. You know, is that part of the curse here? What's going on?
Yeah, maybe we just need to, have Eddie predict somebody else. But I think as you look at it, it's the cars have run well enough, so I can see where he's coming from. To get to victory lane. So it's definitely something that we feel like we're capable of doing, and hopefully we can check that off the list so that Eddie will leave me alone.
20 years at this track. Is there something special about running at this track for you guys as drivers?
Well, I think just in general, this is a big race for us. I think it's a big market. There's a lot of things that they always say everything's bigger in Texas. Well, there are a lot of things that are bigger in Texas than some of the other places that we go to. So, I think when you look at the racetrack and the effort that goes in to each and every race, and you see the facility every time that you come back has some new improvement or something that's going on with it. This is a premier race for us, and I think everybody steps up and knows that when they come here.
We're coming up on 5 years when you and Bush had that great kind of run in. It's been 5 years since Darlington.
Okay.
When y'all had that good one. Your sport has seemingly, maybe not gone out of its way, but made a point to say, listen, we're going to let the guys kind of go at it a little bit. How much do you think that's helped with your sport, grow the sport, keep the interest going?
Well, I don't know that you need to fabricate any of that stuff.
Right, it's real, right?
All that stuff just happens, and I think when you look at the things that have happened in our sport, I mean, it's a competition. If you had a competition like that, and you had the NFL players or basketball players, whatever you wanted to, and you just threw a microphone in their face, and as soon as they got done and they couldn't go to the locker room, and you let both teams kind of intermingle amongst each other right after the game or during the game, you'd probably have more of those conflicts too. So this is more of an uncontrolled environment that you see that raw emotion. None of us like to lose, and that's why we're good at what we do, because we are competitive and we do care about the performance and the things that happen on the racetrack. So sometimes you see that raw emotion and it comes out.
Kevin, switching gears a bit, Junior made the announcement last week. He's donating his brain to scientific research after he passes. Obviously, the sport, has its own dangers, but it's gotten safer over the years. How much do you worry about concussions, head injuries, and so on?
Well, I don't think you don't ever want to get in a position where you're not aware of what you're feeling and how you feel, and being not open about how you feel from a physical standpoint if you've had a wreck or something like that. I think things have changed so much in the sports world that everybody is much more aware of when something's wrong, and not being afraid to go out and say, hey, I think I'm not feeling right. You need to probably check me out and make sure that everything's good. So there's a lot of protocols that are set up within our sport. If you're going to be in an impact like that, you're going to probably have to run through that protocol to make sure that everything's okay. So, everything, our sport is no different than any other sport. We've advanced in many ways from a safety aspect, but also from a precautionary stance. But I think in all sports, I don't even think it's the different programs and things that you have to go through that are mandatory. I think it's more the self-awareness of knowing what you're feeling and the things that you're doing that are kind of policing things more than even the systems that sports are setting up, because everybody knows the repercussions of not paying attention to it nowadays.
What do you do from a physical standpoint in terms of fitness and stuff to keep you in the best shape to withstand anything you encounter?
Well, I think the fitness is kind of something that everybody has paid a lot more attention to over the past 15 years, 10 years. For me, it's everything from spin classes to running to lifting weights, whatever it is. It just really depends on what your week looks like, what last week was, and how dehydrated you are from the week's race before, and how fatigued you are on Monday morning as to what you put together for that particular week and how you feel. So definitely a lot of attention paid to the physical fitness side of things. Hydration is obviously our biggest thing, especially when we get into the summer, to make sure that your body is as hydrated as possible. But there's definitely a major focus put on keeping yourself in shape, really more for the grind for throughout the year, and keeping yourself physically fit is really more for that.
Kevin, how did you get involved with Misha Tate and representing her and other athletes?
Yeah, KHI Management Group, we have 3 UFC fighters with Donald Cerrone, Misha Tate, and Rose Namajunas. We have PGA golfer Jason Gore, and myself, and a few other people that we do different things with. But really the UFC side of things started right here at Texas Motor Speedway. The Tap Out folks brought a group of UFC fighters that they were on the road searching for new fighters, and I had my first conversation with Donald really over a beer in the infield here at Texas. So that progressed into him asking us to help him manage his day-to-day activity and contracts and negotiations and sponsors and things like that. And Misha came along next, and obviously she's the champ now. So I think as you look at that, it's been a progression of those 3 fighters and dealing with their day-to-day stuff. So really it all started right here with the conversation in Texas.
Can you mix it up in the octagon?
I'm way beyond that. Once you're around those guys and gals that do that on a daily basis, you realize that you just need to keep your mouth shut and go about your business. And it could, because you never know, who you're standing next to or talking trash to that might wind up with a foot or a fist in your mouth. So it's best just to go about your business and realize that those days have passed me, and you're never going to catch up to the amount of training that those guys and gals have had.
All right, guys, thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yep.